borrow the clothing from me, so I know they're not coming with it.
Well, if it's that cold, they're not going outside. The bus doesn't break down, we're good.
Right.
And if they borrow it from
Now
you,
you've done
it doesn't do any good if they're in the bus because they will borrow it till they get here.
Don't put your tongue on the window. No.
No,
Not.
not on the
No.
metal.
Have they been doing it?
No.
No, I did. I had a kid do that to me one time and I had to go out and pour hot water on and he was just like, pulled her off.
Everybody's done it. So.
Yeah.
You see if people are live streaming.
I'm trying to think what's like.
Hard time.
Oh, so stressed.
Going to the-
I can't on this end, no. I could if I brought it up.
I think mine might have been too.
And
Too
short.
Then we just
Oh, no,
rip
that's
them
what
off.
I mean.
You don't wait for you to come out. You just rip
No, I
them
was
off.
just curious.
That's cool.
Kind of amateur. We had one last time.
Okay.
There's analytics that I get.
No, here.
And we had one
Never did that.
pretty constant.
We got almost all my brothers and sisters to do it. And I'm the oldest of eight. It was fun.
All right.
I can't do these. My pen died again.
I brought
Four
some more.
different-
I brought a pile.
He's not waiting to show it up.
Right there in front
He's
of
not
you.
here, he's not here tonight.
He's supposed to be here.
No, he's not here. We'll take.
Hey, look,
Put
the
it
door
in.
open.
I'll go
Did you
take
get in?
it.
Okay.
You wanna do it now? Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, obviously you got in, but the door was
I
open.
was.
We'll do it now.
Okay.
That's Lemon Jam.
Dana's over here. Rhonda's here. We're good. 30 seconds to spare.
It's Wayne's office.
Thank you.
Did you have to put an expander in for Wayne?
Yeah, I said it might fit his right leg, but she's so skinny.
I think so, we were just checking out to see if,
So, lost so many of them. They're all, I think I'm gonna say it in a way. Huh? Oh, yeah, I cut it in half. Give Minnie free range. And it's like, I don't even care. It'll grow back. Do whatever.
oh, here, I have something to sign.
Okay, I'm gonna need to.
Maybe we
All
can-
right.
So it's not.
Going 6 p.m. Gonna call the meeting to order. Ask that everyone stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Dwayne, seconded by Rhonda to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Comments from the public? No one here, we have no one on Zoom for public comments, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, we will move special appearances. Do we have any? No, okay, that's okay. So we will move to the receiving and accepting of donations.
Make a motion to accept the books to the Native American office.
Okay.
A motion by Rhonda, seconded by Tiffany to accept the donation of books to the Native American Office of the Library from Becky Strable. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I make a motion to accept the donation from the Siren Alliance for washer dryer and winter.
Second. Motion by Rhonda, seconded by Tiffany. Any discussion?
I can't wait.
Hearing none.
I thought you'd have it ordered and.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I make a motion to accept Families First Counseling.
Yeah.
To about $500 to the Board of Nature.
Second.
Motion by Rhonda, seconded by Tiffany to accept the $500 donation from Families First for the Florida band trip. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I make a motion to accept the donation from the child for
Yep, Eunice
Go
Philander.
under foundation of $750 to the Florida trip.
Second.
Motion by Rhonda, seconded by Tiffany to accept the $750 donation to the Siren High School band trip from the Charles and Eunice Philander Foundation. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Motion to accept the $5,000 donation to the band from the Jim Boot memory.
Second.
I have a motion by Rhonda, seconded by Tiffany to accept the $5,000 donation to the band in memory of Jim Glute to be used at Bryn's discretion. Kevin, if you would report back, please, what the money is used for in that case.
Okay, will you? Marimba? Okay.
Any further
Not sure
discussion?
what that is.
It's so big, long thing.
Okay, hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Treasurer's report.
Are getting texts. Like something.
Well, the end of January, we'll see that. Or the end of, sorry, the January treasurer's report, we'll see in February.
Make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Motion by Rhonda, seconded by myself, to accept the treasurer's report as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. President's report and correspondence. The only thing I have here is an announcement of a joint board PAC member meeting, April 6th. I don't know what day of the week that is, but we have time to respond. It will be Turtle Lake at the office again.
Some of you attended,
Okay.
have attended these
It's on a
before.
Wednesday, 6:30 PM dinner. Meeting will follow. We usually check in around 6 and we're out of there about 9 o'clock. Heading back here, we generally take a van. Dr. Shetler goes with if anyone is interested. Do we have a deadline to register for this one?
He's just
Oh,
telling
yeah,
us. to
sorry.
register.
March 30th?
Yeah, as soon as
So by the
possible.
February meeting, if we could give a good idea of who's gonna be able to make that, if anyone is, the subject is, are you ready? With keynote presentations on, from Randy Fox, transformational leadership. Get ready to infuse an audience with energy and insights from an NCAA basketball official and proven corporate leader. So it'll obviously be a leadership meeting. So if we'll keep that for next meeting, and if everybody can check their calendars and see if they tentatively want to go so that Lisa can get reservations for us, if anyone's available. That's all I have. So Dr. Shetler, that brings us to you.
Okay, the exhibit you have in here, 343.4, we already do this, and basically all the information that's on here came from our document, but what I noticed, and this is relatively new, is the School Board Association has a template doc. So this is presented as an exhibit now. So basically, it's in our board policies. Rather than, before it was just a random kind of note that we put out prior to every school year. Ms. Herman puts out our educational options.
Oh,
So
this
the-
is the thing that says like we have the
Yes.
ALC and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, they just provide a template now for it. So it's in our
So
policy.
we need to approve this.
No,
Oh,
this doesn't have to be approved. It's just how we present, and I just wanted, it's an exhibit. So I just want to show you guys that that's how we're gonna be,
Exhibiting.
yeah, because we already have a policy that indicates we have to do this, but it's just in a different form. And it's really good for us.
Okay.
Yes. But then the other items, Just want to talk a little bit. So I brought this to budget and finance. And these are legislative priorities that CISA came up with to present to our legislators. And when we talked about that in our group, we decided that we would, from the committee, develop a template, send it to our legislators. But the one thing I guess I would need from you and the board is, if you guys want to weigh in on this, our priorities are a little different than what they have in terms of order. So any feedback or input that I kind of have an idea, but I think it's collectively, if you guys want to look at this and just take some time, and if you want to just drop an email to me saying, hey, I think this is most important, I think we can kind of all agree. But what I'll do then is once I get some input from the board, or maybe you just want me to prioritize them, we can put them in a letter, send it to our legislators. I'll bring that template to the board, and then we'll invite some legislators to come into our district. We've talked about doing that. And just sharing with them, maybe having a dialogue or conversation saying, hey, these things are really important to us. The one thing that really matters to, I mean, they all are important, but one thing we need to thrive on is the reduction in enrollment, declining enrollment relief financially, because I think districts of our size, many in our area, are seeing this. So if there's some way the legislature can help us financially or compensate for that declining enrollment, you know, kind of hold harmless kind of thing, which we kind of have now, but we need more relief. We need more help financially. The way the funds are set up now, it doesn't help us a whole lot. I mean, we could have more, it does help us, I mean, but we need more help. So if you guys just want to look at these priorities, tell me what you think, you know, and you're all welcome to come to the budget and finance meeting too, the next meeting. And if you want to talk about it and we want to just put it to the regular meeting next month and decide as a group, that's okay too. Whatever you guys think, but just look at these priorities, tell me what you think, and I'll start to generate a template, and then we'll contact our legislators and go from there. And then we'll request it. You know, maybe they can come to a board meeting or something like that too, and we can address them that way. What we tried to do at CISA as a superintendent group, we tried to have them come in, but we've had to cancel. They haven't been able to do it because they've been in session or they've had other commitments. So it's probably in our best interest to have them come to our district, you know, our legislators, and just talk to them at the board.
I do, but I think that while it's important for them, the board, I think it's also important for them to come while school's in session.
Oh, for sure.
And see
Yeah.
firsthand the scrambling, trying to find the substitute teachers and the
And
day-to-day problems with aides aren't here, and we have special needs students who need services that we can't get for them, and we have therapists who quit in the middle of the year, and we have to find replacements, and I mean, there's issues that I think if you're not sitting there, you're not really aware of some of those day-to-day stressors.
yeah, it'd be good for them to see. So that's a plan in place, and I just need input from the board.
I think if you put together your template or whatever, bring it to budget and finance, we can talk about it there.
Hash it out, prioritize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Anyone have anything for Dr. Shetler? We'll go to Mrs. Herman.
This isn't on my thing, but Brett just gave me this from Ruby's Food Shelf. And he received a thank you for the support from Ruby's Pantry. We donated 502 pounds of fresh garden produce. So it's kind of exciting. He was pretty proud of himself. All right. Math curriculum. I met with teachers today again, and we hashed it out. We're down to deciding between two math resources. We've got some more diving in that they want to do and looking into them. And then we'll make our decision in March, hopefully. So I'll be coming with a proposal for that. Hopefully in April. Upcoming events, we have 2/2/22, and we will be doing tutus and ties, or anything in twos. And then 2/22/22 is a Tuesday, TWOSDAY, and it's a doubles day. So the kids will be getting notes home on everything, but kitchen is going to do, I think, Taco Tuesday that day, possibly. And then the kids can dress up as famous pairs like peanut butter and jelly, or ketchup and mustard, or Mickey and Minnie. Or they can do twin day, just some fun stuff to celebrate the $2 teams. And then we are also planning to do something for a math family night centered around the Winter Olympics. So the committee is going to meet tomorrow on that and decide what they want to do with that. Lots of fun stuff trying to come up with.
Any questions for Mrs. Ryan? Is a math curriculum for what grades are you looking at right now?
We are looking at K-5, but we're also looking at one that encompasses middle school.
So bridging into middle
So
school.
that, because Ryan is up for adoption also on his end, because the series that we're using is going away.
Okay.
So we have to.
So we're gonna get something that's gonna go together though, so it's not gonna
Sound-
be too much of a.
Sounds like we're gonna try to do that as best we can. Yep.
All right, and Mr. Imhoff and Mr. Koval are both excused this evening, so that will bring us to Denise.
Yep, and I don't have a whole lot. I just wanted to let you know that DPI is updating all of the eligibility criteria checklists. So they did some of the low incidents, the deaf, blind, deaf and hard of hearing, visually impaired, as well as the speech and language. Those all took effect in August, on August 1st. And they just updated the EBD one that took effect December 1st. And they are updating the learning disability one as well as OHI. I don't have dates for those. But our EBD one used to be this, and now we're this. So they're getting much more specific on what they need us to document and breaking things out, so we have to document every little thing instead of doing it as a group. We've done a great job documenting anyway. So
And so
it's-
when these go into effect, you have to redo standing or
We do
just
not
as
have-
they come up for renewal?
as they come up for either reeval, or we had one that was just a, or if we have new referrals. they have
Okay,
to come in and
okay,
do
so we don't
some.
have to go back and redo it.
No. How they qualified, and actually, this one, we used anyway.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to meet them exactly on
Rebound?
reevaluations. We don't have to meet the criteria exactly if they've already been serviced in that area.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions for Mrs. Johnson?
are those on DPI then? They are in DPI. Okay. They have the checklists and they have the whole guidebook that goes through how to use them and what you're looking for. I have a 3-ring binder that I think it's got a bunch of them listed in there that I now have to update.
So we will go to Tara.
I just have to say first that if my fire alarm goes off, I really apologize. I've got a little lasagna accident happening. So I just have impact aid numbers updated. So I just got an email yesterday that said we can use our numbers, not from last year, but from the year before if we wish to. But looking at the numbers, I had already done the count, and we have about 22 more kids living on tribal land than we did 2 years ago, and those students are counted at 1.5 times. Whereas we have less people this year that are working on tribal land. Those kids are only counted at half of the, whatever. So I think we're going to stick with this year. We're just having a problem getting the employment numbers verified. COVID, people are out and they're trying to send it to others. But anyway, the numbers look pretty good for this year. So I think we'll be getting a little bit more money than we have the last couple. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Tara? Thank you, Tara.
Yep, thank you.
All right, so we will move on to the approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular school board meeting of December 20th, 2021.
Motion by Tiffany, seconded by Dwayne to approve the regular school board meeting minutes from December 20th of 2021. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Open enrollment.
Okay, so these are spaces that need to be designated. We do this every January for the following year because basically if we run out of room, we've already designated that and people know up front that we've made those decisions and it wasn't something we tried to hold somebody out of our district. Most critical, I think, we would all agree, special education, and that's coming later tonight. So with that, Ms. Herman?
So 4K, right now in the census book, I have 10 students, which is about typical. We've been putting Facebook messages out there. If you've got any kids who are gonna be 4 or 5 and kindergarten or pre-K eligible, send them our direction. Coming to kindergarten from Head Start, we have 0 kids out there right now. So they won't be coming in, which makes our kindergarten looking at about 22 students. Grade 1, 24 students, grade 2 would be at 28. Grade 3, 36 students. It's a big group, and even though I have enrollment space at 0, we always take more kids, so that's
kind of a hard group too, though.
they are. They are, but I would still take kids. in
Well, we
there.
have to if they move in, no matter what we say.
Well, right,
This is
yeah,
only open enrollment, correct?
correct. I've got 28 going into 4th grade next year, and grade 5 has 26 students, so.
But she's designated spaces. And that's what you guys need to approve tonight.
Correct.
No, you're fine.
And these need to be approved individually, correct? Like
Correct.
elementary numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So do I have a motion to accept
Just
the
elementary.
elementary enrollment class size?
Make that motion.
Motion by Rhonda, seconded by Dwayne. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Imhoff's not here, but basically, you can look at this and if you just look at the projected open seats, that's what we're looking at. So he's got 67 in the middle school. He's got grade 8, 22 students, 2 sections, enrollment space. You see 26, 7, 30 students, sections 2, enrollment 18. And then grade 6, enrollment space 23. So we would need those approved. I don't know if you guys want to comment on any of that.
That was just middle school?
Middle school.
Yeah, no, I don't have any comment there.
Motion to accept
Have a motion by Rhonda. Seconded by Tiffany to accept the middle school classroom enrollment cap. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. High school.
Okay, so he has it at the top. You can see the total numbers there that he's got. Projected enrollment, open enrollment gap, and then projected open seats.
His comments on this
Sure.
one that he sent to me are, I have room in middle school and high school. After talking with Grantsburg and looking at our present sophomores and juniors, the ALC will not have, oh, sorry.
So, and
I
was
forgot
gonna-
it was another.
Yeah, so you'll have to see, that's another one coming after this, so. And I'm glad you have that because I didn't have it.
Okay,
So
sorry.
this is just the high school one, and then the ALC is a part of that, but we've been doing that stuff.
Correct. All right, so I'll make a motion that we accept the high school enrollment cap numbers as presented.
Second.
Motion by myself, seconded by Tiffany to accept the high school classroom enrollment spaces. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. ALC.
Now you can see the ALC, he's got a document in the packet. And you can see what his projected open seats are from the top, and he's got the ratio, but I'll let Mr. Herman take it from there.
Yeah, he just was saying, after talking with Brandsburg and looking at our present sophomores and juniors, the ALC will not have room. There are some kids that fell behind during remote learning, and that is the best way to catch them up.
Now, I'm gonna add a caveat on this. We had talked about Webster potentially becoming a part of that, so that may be a discussion down the line, because they're very interested and want to come on board. And I'm in the process now trying to set up a meeting for that. So I think we approve it as it is, and then we reevaluate.
Yeah, because that's a
Yeah,
different
yeah, for sure.
situation at that point.
But I just wanted you guys to be aware of that.
And right now, we have 18 over there part of the time.
Yeah, if
That's a
that's,
lot.
if that's what he's,
But they're not there the full time.
Well, like Tuesday morning, there's 18. Tuesday afternoon, there's 17. We're really only set up for 16 over there, correct? Thursday mornings too.
yeah, I guess I don't know totally what the structure is.
Of course, we don't, I mean, maybe somebody's
asked.
asked.
Know more about, I don't know.
Well, Brandsburg buses their students over Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the morning, and then comes back and picks them up in the afternoon. If they have students that are only there part days, they have to find their own transportation. So that could account for the variance in the numbers between morning and afternoon.
Mhm.
Well, and you can see the average number of students on a day.
Yeah.
22 different students.
I'll make the motion that we accept the ALC enrollment cap numbers. Question by myself, seconded by Tiffany.
Oh, was there another second?
You guys talk at the same time, both of you. That's all right.
I only hear you, Rhonda. You need to yell.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Special education.
All right, so in special ed, we have 2 early childhood that are out at Tribal Head Start. We have 2 more referrals that have just come in from Tribal Head Start. Currently, we have 2 referrals in our current 4K program. And we have 4 students in kindergarten right now that are receiving support. And we have 3 notifications out of birth to 3. So early childhood numbers are picking up. I have revised my position on weekend and hopefully pop that up to the top here at the semester, so. Because we cannot break it down by disability area anymore, we had to put everything as a cross-categorical program because it's not by disability area, it's by program support. So in the elementary, which combines Shannon and Carolyn and half of Natasha, so 2.5 teachers there, you can see the number of students that we have based on severity is level 1. So level 1 is the least severe, number 3 is the most severe. We have no room for open enrollment. We have 2 LD referrals in process in the elementary as well. Middle school this year for a change, we are moving out 8 students from 8th grade into 9th grade and only bringing in 1 7th grader and 1 6th grader. So there is room in the middle school program for open enrollment. Now watch, I'll say that we'll get like 20 coming in, but it is what it is. And we have no middle school students right now or next year that'll be serviced by Ms. Rogers. Our high school, though, we do have students serviced by her. That's why there are 2.5 high school cross-categorical teachers. With the projected numbers, we would have room for one space, depending on severity and needs of services. Speech and language as usual, we have no room for open enrollment. And OT, we have no space available for open enrollment unless we were to contract more time. As far as open enrollment numbers go, PT, we would have, right now, we only have 3 students receiving PT services, which is a good thing. But, so if we were to get somebody in that required PT would be able to fall into one of the other programs, we could accept that student.
All in all, we're pretty.
Pretty well. We have been for years.
Make a motion to accept special education classroom enrollment spaces.
Second. Motion by Rhonda, seconded by Tiffany to accept the special education enrollment spaces. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Elementary music grant. Oh,
I mean,
I mean,
I can read the statement.
I
but
can
anything
read
you
the
wanna
statement
comment
too.
on or-
No, because I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah,
I'm just
so,
reading it
yeah,
here.
this was just, presented to us. The elementary music program has been awarded a $3,464 grant from the St. Croix Valley Foundation. Miss Marissa Altendorfer will use this grant money to purchase more ORF instruments for her classroom. You want to talk about ORF?
The ORF instruments are like your xylophones, your triangles, your those.
And is this a grant that was applied for by
Um,
someone here?
Actually, I think this one she was awarded because they're part of, they have a group that gets together of music teachers.
Okay.
And they have money, so I'm not sure if she applied for it or was just awarded it.
But it didn't go through our grant person.
No,
I
probably,
probably should just make a motion to accept this.
yeah.
I make a motion to accept that grant for $2,564 from the St. Croix Valley Foundation for students.
Okay.
Apparently we didn't read far.
Who is that?
And the second.
We have a motion by Brenda, seconded by Dwayne to accept the donation. Any discussion?
Oops. Second page in there.
For her for what is it?
It just says,
On the bottom of the first one, it says continued support.
For their continued support through her first year of teaching.
all right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yes, sir.
Okay, just once again, this is an opportunity for the public. We don't have any here to provide input. The only input we've had to date has been by one of our board members to provide tutoring with that funding, and that's a good thing we'll look at, and certainly we'll make an effort to do that. I mean, our plan in moving forward is to buy educational materials, curriculum, and items for learning loss, technology, basically all for the students.
School plan.
Yeah, so we are required by, as part of getting the funding, to review our plan every 6 months. We're right about at that point in time now. What you have though, guys, is the admin team sat down. This is the summary, which is really, I mean, all you really need to look at, because we haven't made any changes in the actual document itself. The only change that you'll see is we're just continuing to follow CDC guidelines, which change. So those are the changes. Is there anything else you want to comment about this? Also, I'll just make a comment. We had a superintendent's meeting today, and I did hear from several sources who've been talking with medical professionals in their respective counties, bigger districts. And they're indicating that the COVID-19 being a pandemic will be soon within the next several weeks. Now, this isn't factual to my knowledge, but it's hearsay from medical professionals that it's going to be reduced to a level 1 like endemic, meaning that it won't require, quarantining and severity of what we're doing right now. I've heard that from several sources. I have no reason to think it isn't true. So I guess stay tuned on that. So that would probably affect our plan, but not having to quarantine moving forward would be something, a huge change for us.
We don't need to approve that because it's basically the exact same plan, correct?
Yeah, it's the same plan. Just note in our minutes, we'll note that we're following the CDC recommendations and the guidance from our county. And that's changed though, like the quarantine time changed.
Nope, that's about it.
Yeah, so, okay.
Okay, capital fund amendment.
Oh, hold on. Can you guys, just approve the plan as it is?
So we make a motion
I mean, there's nothing changed, but I think for the notes, I think we need.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve the back to school plan that was reviewed. No current changes.
Second.
motion by Rhonda, second by Tiffany. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, I was asked by the, I think it was Buildings Grounds Committee or Budget and Finance, I think Building Grounds, and Dwayne, you can speak on this. Wanted to make sure we had the authority and had it for the district that we could do a capital fund for improvement of the auditorium, which I called Bob Butler, our attorney, did say, well, yes, we certainly are within our limits to do that. Just make sure that it's in our resolution and part of the capital improvement plan that was approved by the resolution. So in your document is the resolution we approved in 2019. So we don't necessarily need to reapprove the resolution, but you guys need to know that we've added on the second page, the auditorium for maintenance and improvements. And that is part of Fund 46. So the clock is running on that. We did start that in 2019 and you need to wait 5 years before you touch it. So, and that's in statute, but he said everything's fine as long as we add it. It's just part of that Fund 46. You know, we don't have a whole lot of money in it right now, but if we start moving forward, if people want to make donations, we
I would
just.
say, could we let it be known that we are accepting donations into that fund for this specific purpose?
Yeah. Once we, you know, approve the addition, what I need you guys to do is approve the addition of the auditorium of maintenance and improvements to the Fund 46 Long-Term Capital Trust. So somebody would make that. So
So I will
we
make a
are-
motion that we add, I gotta say it before I forget it.
Yeah.
The auditorium maintenance and improvements to the Siren School District Long-Term Capital Improvement Plan. Motion by myself, seconded by Dwayne. Any discussion?
I'll just say you guys, you can make that known now. Hey, we have a capital fund for the auditorium. So if anybody'd like to make.
Well, I'm
donations-
thinking if we're getting out, like Bryn is currently getting donations like for band, and some of those people may also wish to make donations into this, especially I can think of two of them off the top of my head that were very much into theater and would
Okay.
probably very much like to do that if they knew it was available. I have a motion by myself, seconded by Dwayne. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, policy 723.2. Now this is, I took this to policy, this is relation to that TikTok incident that occurred. And that there was some scuttlebutt about other districts who put letters on to their public. That was a form letter sent by our organization. We did not do that, and there was some criticism for that. And the very next day, when we had a superintendent's meeting, all those superintendents to a person agreed that they made a mistake by putting that letter on there because it added to the chaos of the threat. And secondly, it was not a local threat. It was a nationwide threat. And after further analysis and assessment of this by bigger districts in Chicago, to alarm the community of a national threat when it doesn't impact your local community adds to what the perpetrators want. So in that, I added 7, you can see in yellow here, that we want to make sure that it's a local threat before we start putting letters out and things like that out to our community, because by doing that, you're creating more information for the perpetrator than what you really need to. Now, did other districts have threats as a result of that? Yes, they did. But we did not. And so at that point in time, it was not a local threat. So for us to do anything above and beyond any more than that, no. So immediately, I just thought we'd redraft this policy and make sure it's a local threat. And that was part of our meeting with the other soups, was like, hey, let's make sure it's a local threat before we start adding communication to the community. If someone were to call, like no one actually called our district and said, hey, there's a bomb in the district. Whereas in another district, they called and made a bomb threat. So the TikTok was saying, hey, school districts, kids, you guys go ahead and make local bomb threats or threats to your district. We did not get any form of threat like that.
We have a threat assessment team that is comprised of Daryl and I, Chris Ward, Rachel McNally, and Trevor Tex. And so we've gone through the training and we have certain protocols that we go through. We also have kind of a flow chart that I think we'll be bringing to add to this policy on the determination, what is a threat and what isn't a threat and what constitutes that. So it'll be a little more clear too as we finish up our work.
Yeah, because of social media today, it's only gonna get worse. Constantly kids are pushing other kids and their peers to do something.
Yep.
And being an adult, we're not on TikTok or half the crap they're on. Next thing you know, you get a threat. Or some kid comes in and does something based on a challenge or whatever else. Are we ready for that?
I would say
We
at that
would-
point in time.
We would run
were-
it through the threat assessment and determine if there's actual threat there and what it is. If it's a moderate, if it's, you know, if we need removal of students or however that needs to look. So we do have that in place. So we would, any threat that comes to us, we would sit down and try and figure out where we're at with it and exactly what it is. So, and because we didn't have a local threat on the TikTok thing, we definitely made the right call on
We
it.
did. And we were
The
questioning the
TikTok
call.
thing wasn't actually a threat. That was the whole thing
Yeah.
in this case. Now, the earlier one, which nobody made a big deal on social media, was actually a threat to the schools. And a couple of our local schools were severely damaged.
Mhm.
I had
We
read-
never even heard about that one,
Yeah,
you
and I
know?
had read another article that schools that had kept track of some of the TikTok threats that had gone through, like where they had the monthly ones where you're supposed to go and slap your teacher
Yep.
or do this or that. Like they were some of the schools that put out a notice saying closed or
Yes.
or standby, which made sense because they had already done some assessment that
Yes.
people are
Yes.
taking care of, trying to be part of it.
I mean, so the whole thing is back to, you know, if kids see something or if you hear something, speak up so that we can
Right.
investigate as needed.
I was just gonna comment when she was talking about the assessment team. We are always, the team in general is in contact with local law enforcement. And I think, I don't know if you were part of that night, but I think they were advising, just, no, let's not make more out of this than what it was. And we were on the fence, we didn't know, but in retrospect, we did do the right thing. And after,
Were out that day.
but after,
Do you have a count of how many people actually were out that day?
It was,
There were a few.
there were a few, but not a lot.
It wasn't a large percentage where, like they say.
I was
"Oh, half our
amazed
kids are
at
gone," or-
some of them that were out. I mean, I know that some were out, but
Yeah.
I was like. they were-
You know, and always it's parents' discretion, whatever they want to do. And, you know, we excuse the kids who called in for that purpose that day. I mean, we didn't penalize them. It's a parent choice at that point to make it that. So,
I have one question. So if a threat's called in and Kevin says to himself, this is really serious, he can just make the decision right there. He doesn't need the team.
he would probably, knowing Kevin and knowing all of us, we would come together.
but I would,
If it's
But
a bomb
yes.
threat.
Yeah.
then we
Oh,
got
if it's
two
last
guys.
minute,
If it's
you get a bomb
if it's an
threat.
immediate threat like that, I would just say, look, I would let them know though. I would always be in
Sure,
touch with them.
sure.
and be like, hey guys, here's what I'm thinking.
But yeah, he has the
They need
absolute
second place.
authority.
Yeah.
First
Yeah.
place is make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah,
But I think part of that leadership is having a good team, and just making sure, this is what I'm thinking, what do you guys think? And always have law enforcement, always.
Mhm.
And I gotta tell you too, they were Johnny on the spot the next day. I mean, we had sheriffs here, we had the local PD here, I mean, we had all exits covered, I mean, they were great. So even not addressing the threat outwardly with the parents, we had it covered in the building.
right. And we don't always publicize what we've got going on either and where we're at too.
And you came,
so.
you saw them.
I did. And in fact, the kids were, the younger kids were really excited to see, they were asking all kinds of questions and
I mean, I think we were proud as an administrative team that they came to our aid.
Absolutely.
I'll make a motion that we accept the changes to policy 723.2.
Second.
Motion by myself, seconded by Rhonda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Meeting calendars.
Okay. Do they have this?
Regular meeting
Oh,
is on the 28th. So it's late next month. So budget and finance. Laura, is there any times that are bad for you?
Just hockey nights.
What-
Which
Just-
are.
Okay.
Well, we wouldn't be having it. So,
Lisa,
Mondays look pretty good.
Lisa for notes is out on the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Okay,
Whether you want to do without that, that's okay. I mean, whatever you guys decide.
14th. I don't see any games that night.
It's Valentine's Day.
Oh, sorry.
Our working meeting.
Sorry.
canceled, right?
Yeah. I take that back.
actually, any day that we
You got basketball Thursday night. You got a game Thursday night and Tuesday night.
Yeah.
That pretty much only leaves Wednesday of that week then.
Wednesday after 6 or 6.
16.
Can you do Wednesday at 6 on the 16th? Okay, because then you're going on vacation. And you're back. Okay. So you're back before the regular.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so budget and finance will be on the 16th at 6 PM. Building and grounds,
Want to do it the next hour?
Yeah, sure.
that same night at 7? Okay. Policy and planning, do we need one, Kelly?
Can we just do it as needed? Because I don't know
Certainly.
right now. I don't think so.
I know that we have one policy, but it's not urgent. It can go
No,
another.
yeah, that
so-
one. the
Yeah,
one
that
for
one
next
can
year,
wait.
You mean?
Huh?
The one for actually next year?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It can wait.
Okay.
So, okay, so we will not have, we'll plan on not having policy and planning unless something comes up. All right, that was probably the easiest we've had. Approval of the bills.
Second.
Motion by Dwayne, second by Tiffany to pay the bills. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Items for board signature. Motions are signed, recertification is that here? And that's for Tiffany to sign, correct?
Yeah.
And you got it? Okay.
We
Great.
had to recertify because Webster missed a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 students from third Friday, and that dominoed to me. So
Oh.
I just had to go in and redo our numbers and recertify. It's done.
Okay, so at this time, we'll convene a closed session under Wisconsin State Statute 19.851 CEFG to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, considerations of financial, medical, social, or personal information, and to confer with legal counsel who is rendering oral or written advice. Motion?
I make a motion.
Motion by Rhonda, seconded by Dwayne. Tiffany, if you call the roll.
Jim,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Peggy,
Yes.
Dwayne, Tiffany. Yes.
Okay, we are in
Hang on.
closed